if you know me, you know that the Dwayne Wade is my favorite player, and the Miami Heat is my favorite team. Growing up, I was a big, Allen Iverson fan, but also when Dwayne Wade came into the league, I was a big Dwayne Wade fan, and the Miami Heat is, my squad, even though I don't really agree with a lot of stuff that they do, even though they went to the finals this past season. So this take may be a little biased, but really I think it's factual. To be honest, I don't really think it's 20 players in the history of the game better than Dwayne Wade. I feel like Dwayne Wade is starting to become vastly underrated, and people are starting to kind of disrespect his greatness and disrespect what he brought to the NBA and what he brought to the Miami culture. He brought the Miami Heat their first championship in their franchise history, and he was in his third season in the NBA. That is special. We've seen Dwayne Wade put on the top 5 finals performers of all time, in my opinion, when the Miami Heat came back down 0-2 and beat the Dallas Mavericks, and he was just special. He was Michael Jordan-esque. That was Dwayne Wade during that NBA Finals. And then Dwayne Wade, when you start looking at his athleticism, a lot of people only talk about his athleticism and how Flash was super athletic and his dunking ability and the way he used to dunk on defenders. But to me, he's the greatest basketball player at splitting screens. He's incredibly skilled, can handle the ball. He's one of the best two-way players of all time, and nobody really talks about his two-way ability. There's a reason why he's at the shooting guard position when it comes to blocks, the greatest blocker from the shooting guard position of all time. And nobody really talks about it. He was a bully. He was a skilled bully, slashing ability, but also he was a dead-eye marksman on the second zone on the basketball court. Now, I understand that Dwayne Wade's peak may wasn't as long as some of the other greats in the NBA, but that 5 to 6 year peak of Dwayne Wade was very phenomenal, was very special. And I'm here to tell you that if they would have won the Dallas Mavericks when LeBron James came to South Beach, if they would have won that series and that finals, Dwayne Wade would have also been the finals MVP because he was having a better finals than LeBron James. So when people talk about Dwayne Wade, he was incredibly skilled. He was physical, his size, his strength. And you normally don't see that when a guy that has that athletic gift, that freak of nature athleticism. You normally don't see the smoothness and the fluidity of somebody's game when there's a freak of nature type of athlete. But that was kind of what Dwayne Wade was. And he was very similar to kind of like a Michael Jordan. Maybe not as skilled or as smooth when we're talking about shooting the ball when it comes to the second zone, but he was a dead-eye marksman like Michael Jordan. He was a Michael Jordan disciple, but nobody really talks about it. Dwayne Wade being a Michael Jordan disciple, the way they talk about Kobe Bryant. And then for those years with Kobe Bryant, it was just like it was Kobe and Dwayne Wade, those constant battles that they both had. And Dwayne Wade was extremely clutch as well, one of the clutchest players in the history of the game that most people don't talk about. And it just seems like since he's retired, people are starting to underrate his greatness. And we hear a lot about how James Harden ever wins a title, he's going to surpass Dwayne Wade. I'm saying pump the brakes on that because I don't think that, Dwayne Wade in the playoffs and his clutch ability, he had that same clutch gene as a Michael Jordan, that same clutch gene as a Kobe Bryant. So it's just kind of like we can't just say that if James Harden wins one championship that we're going to put him or he's going to skyrocket over Dwayne Wade, because other than Michael Jordan, other than Kobe Bryant, it's really nobody that's better in the shooting guard position. Even if James Harden possibly wins a championship, I don't know if you can probably put James Harden above Dwayne Wade. Now, if we're talking about regular season numbers and the things that James Harden's done in the regular season, then of course, you may want to give him the edge if he wins a championship. But we're just talking about overall clutchness, combining the athletic, the freak of nature ability. He was a physical specimen. We talk about how skilled and polished he was, and we talk about his overall two-way ability, being an excellent defender. He was always jumping the passing lanes, getting steals, getting open dunks. He was always blocking and kind of not afraid to get poster, blocking great athletic dunkers, blocking great big man, and all those types of things. It's going to be very, very hard for another shooting guard to be better than Dwayne Wade, other than Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, unless James Harden goes on a tear and starts winning maybe not one, but probably 2 championships. But Dwayne Wade was very special. He was a complete basketball player. He was a skilled bully, and the only flaw in his game was, of course, his three-point shooting ability. But I don't even think that's a flaw, because if you look at the era that he played in, it was kind of, a half-court game. The the games were in the 80s and the 90s. It was kind of that style of play was fitted Dwayne Wade's ability. So I think when it comes to the all-time list, I really don't think it's 20 players better than Dwayne Wade. I think he's starting to become vastly underrated. But this is Mr. Miami Heat. He's the reason why the Heat have a culture that they have, and he deserves a lot of credit for the success of, helping the Miami Heat win their first ever championship, and also, helping recruit LeBron James to come down and play in South Beach, and also helping LeBron James, which to me, if you don't, I think he's the greatest basketball player to ever play the game other than Michael Jordan. And that's in the top 2 conversation. That's going to be a part of his legacy as well, Dwayne Wade's legacy as well, that nobody really likes to talk about. That greatest, that backcourt, one of the greatest, most entertaining duo I probably have seen in my life. Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, and his passing ability. People don't talk about his passing ability and the alley-oops and the lobs, but he was a great passer. He played the point guard position before LeBron James had came. He was a point guard in his first couple seasons with the Miami Heat until they moved him to the 2-guard position because he was such a dynamic scorer. He was also an incredible passer as well, and that's going to be part of his legacy. Of course, like I said, recruiting LeBron James and winning championships with LeBron James and helping LeBron James win his first championships. That's going to be part of his legacy that nobody really likes to talk about. But once again, Dwayne Wade has become very underrated. But to me, it's not 20 players of all time that's better than Dwayne Wade. I don't think it's ever going to be, until some years goes by. We'll see what Luka Doncic does. We'll see what Donovan Mitchell does. But as of right now, I think he has that 3rd shooting guard of all time position locked up unless James Harden wins a championship or wins maybe 2 championships.